guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a little shortish kind of video following up on our M130 breakdown that we did in the last video. Had a little time to kind of digest some things about it, and thank you very much for your comments. A few of you pointed out that the chain tensioner was not broken, and I had seen a picture, I think it might have even been on Mercedes Source Kent's site. I was scrolling through for something and I saw that cut, and I should have noticed it. I'm not as familiar with breaking down the M130, you see, as I am more with the M100, and this is not a break, and I should have really noticed really because it was so perfect. This is essentially shares a mount bolt with the manifold, so it's a half flange essentially, and then the manifold, and then they both get cinched down. So I was mistaken with that. Thanks guys for noticing that. And so I have what seems to be a nice decent chain tensioner in my part stock. So alright, so that's the first thing I wanted to touch on. Next thing, I wanted to measure the bores with the pistons. Now they are marked standard, and standard, I've already looked it up in the book. Alright, so let's see, we've got the SE, okay, and we've got the 3.5 and the 6.3. The normal size pistons are 86.5 to 86.522, so it's a kind of a range there. And then we've got the intermediate size, which goes to 86.75, 86 3/4 basically. First repair size is 87, so half a mil up from normal size is the first repair, and then half a mil again for the second, and they do not have a third repair size, obviously, because you're getting too thin on the water jacket, the cylinder towards the water jacket there. So you can go to 87.5 repair size. On the 3.5 you've got 92. Now I think this is the same with the 4.5, because we've got altering dish on the top of the pistons, I believe is the difference, or the stroke or whatever. Anyway, so on the 3.5 we've got 92 normal size, 92 and a quarter intermediate, 92 and a half, 93 and 93.5. They do have a third repair size. On the 6.3 we just go 103, 103 and a quarter, 103 and a half, 104 and 104.5. I actually went to 103.75, so in between the first and second repair size, because I had pistons made, so that's why that's there. Now we've got a piston to wall clearance of 0.02 plus 0.01, so within that range. So 0.02 is the closest, to 0.03. So let's set up the micrometer to 86.5, because that's what the pistons are. They're STD standards, so I'm going to set it to 86.5. We'll set up the dial gauge and then we'll take some readings. So we've got a micrometer here. I've set it to 86.5. I have also checked this micrometer with the anvil, make sure it's accurate. So we'll set it at 86.5, and we'll clamp that lightly in the wooden vise here, and then we'll set up our dial gauge and see what our clearances are. So you only want to just give this a little snug. You don't want to go cranking on this, because you don't want to distort the body of this micrometer. So let's get that in there, and just literally just to hold it there. So what we're going to do, we're going to set that guy in there, you see, out of the way. Set that guy in there very gently, and then we're going to zero the bore gauge out in between those anvils, right? We're very close anyway there. Hold on a minute. Right, so hopefully you can see that. I'm trying to get it where we're reading 0 on the bore gauge, pretty much spot on there. So then when I put this in, we measure the distance, which shows us the clearance on the piston to wall clearance. So we're set to standard. Let's go over to the cylinders and see what we got. All right, there we go. So I'm just going to pick a spot and you can see. So you can see where the 0 is right there. So I'm going to march up to the 0, get to the closest point. There you go. So just a hair over 0.03 in that position there. So I'm getting pretty consistent results on that. So let's turn the dial a little so you can see it. 0.03, just over. Like 0.035, something like that. So let's look at the book and see what the piston to wall clearance is on this M130. Sorry I can't zoom in anymore, but piston play, essentially piston to wall clearance, 0.02 plus 0.01. So we're at 0.03, so it's in the higher of the range. The 3.5 is at 0.04, and then the 6.3 is similar to the M130. So yeah, it seems like this engine, I'll check all the cylinders, but I think we're all pretty good on piston to wall on these standard pistons. So that's actually pretty good news. They could probably do with a little quick hone just to get some of that bloody paint off and crap that's gone down their cylinders, but nothing to taken off, you know, just a couple of swipes with some stones. Right, so I saved the best for last. You remember, if you watched the video towards the end, I was checking the thrust play on the crank, which is very important. And I won't look at them now, but I think we're 4 or 5 hours the thrust play, somewhere in that range, and this didn't have any. And it was a little weird because I thought the guy's gone to all this trouble buying new pistons, doing all the head work, all new parts, and the thrust bearing was obviously too big. You know, it was too big of a thrust bearing. I'm sure Mercedes would have that, and he would have checked all that. So anyway, I got to thinking, and lo and behold, I found out what he did wrong. So it wasn't really the bearing's fault, it was what he did. So let me go get in and I'll show you what he did. If you remember, we took the thrust bearing and he had it here. He had the thrust bearing right here. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I was looking over the various parts to the assembly here, the rotating assembly, and I'm thinking, you know what he's done? He had the thrust bearing in here, right? Jammed in there, but he had it in the wrong location. This is supposed to be there. It's supposed to be on the center journal. So a really kind of a bad oversight, because this center main journal is machined out for the thrust. That's why when he had the thrust bearing on here, he was getting no thrust whatsoever. I mean, it will still go on there, but it would have cooked it as soon as he'd have started. And so not only that, so he had this one on this yoke, right? And then he had this, the cap, right, which should have been here. He had, because these have got different sized dowel pins, so you can't get them the wrong way round. But he had got, instead of here, he had put the wrong cap on here. So he kind of really screwed up, really. So that's a good reason why, when you're taking these apart, making special notes of where these caps and certainly where the thrust bearing goes. And what you can see on here, I haven't taken, let me get this, I haven't taken this thrust bearing out because this is jammed on here. I've got to lever it off, but you can see there's a shoulder. You can see that, a little shoulder right on there. And let me get you a standard one. Standard one is flat. There's no shoulder, so there's the difference, right? And also, another clue, if you look, this is machined out here, just a slight lip, but look at that larger lip machined out for the thrust bearing, and then it goes back to normal on these ones. So yeah, that wouldn't, as I say in the last video, the crank wouldn't have lasted long at all with that all jammed up like that. Anyway, you live and learn, so hope you guys got something from that. All right, another odd one that I've just noticed. As we know, we got this thrust bearing cap should be here, and then as I was looking at it, so you've got one with a groove, one without, one with a groove, one without. The thrust bearing, one with a groove, one without. This middle one, what's happened here? These came out of this middle one, and there's no groove, but there's an oiler hole there and there, and this cap, this is a little odd. Maybe I'm missing something. So this cap has a groove, right? These caps do not. Forget the thrust right now. No groove, no groove. So this middle cap here has got a groove, an oiler groove in it, right? And the only one with the oiler groove is the thrust bearing one. So what's this business? Let me know what you think, because this, I'm having a little trouble figuring this out. We know the thrust goes here, but this cap is different from all 6 other caps. Anyway, another little mystery there. Maybe you just add this one from another car. I don't know. Oops, daisy. Maybe you just add it from another car. But this is odd. These 2 bearings don't look like the other pairs of all the other ones. See? It's got a little tab there, like it goes underneath something in a hole. Anyway, all right, before I go, I just wanted to show you some of the markings on the camshaft here, and because we talked about my buddy Urban, who has a 113 using this cam, but I think it's going to be too much of a pain in the butt changing over, and see if he's going to get a 113 cam specifically, because apparently the lift and duration is different on the 108, so it might not be worth dealing with. But anyway, so we've got part number here, I'm guessing here, the 114051 0107, is that? 0101 on there. But I think the end number on the end, we've got a stamp on the end. Man, it's difficult to see. Let me see if I can get a flashlight on that guy. If you can see it, I think it's 05. Hopefully you can see that. It says 05 and then an O opposite. So let me know. I couldn't find any other markings on the crank, on the cam, I should say. Tell a lie. Down here there's numbers S55 punched into the cam right here. So let me know what you think on those numbers. So 05 at the end, and then the serial number on there as well. So that's all for this little catch-up video. Again, thanks a lot for the comments from all of you. I really appreciate any input. I'm learning as well as I hope you guys are as well. So in the next video we're going to jump back on. I'm already starting on the section on the rear of the 109, been welding a bunch of that stuff, so I'm filming and catching up with that. So please hit like, share, subscribe. It really helps the algorithm, I guess. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. All right, cheers guys, have a good weekend, bye.